Okay, so we were in Jeremiah 17. Going back to Jeremiah 17:4, we shall be stripped from our heritage. That's what happened. Now I'm gonna just jump on down to which through the spirit. I just was in the mall too earlier. Okay, whatever devil behind this phone and messing with my phone is mad each time. It's funny how he does it each time I mention this bitch falling down. What it is, you, your fucking kids, whatever the fuck you love, closest to you, they're gonna die and perish because they don't have this truth or knowledge. If you did, you would have been repented of your wicked deeds you were doing towards one of the Lord's men, prophets, right? The seed line lineage, right, of King David. You would have been repented of that long ago, buddy. And I'm gonna mention it again anyway. Oh, and that's also the spiritual sign right there. The sign here in Dick's Sporting Goods in front of the mall. I'm in front of the mall right now, by the way. Is not even the D and the C ain't even on there. So it says X Sporting Goods, which the X sounds like some type of disease, because that's America for you with disease, and what do you have to do with a disease? All diseases eventually have to be exterminated. And America is a fucking disease. And Shalakaram, even more so, Shalakaram pronounced upon this devil behind the phone, and to my fucking with my phone, upon you, for feeling some type of way about a man's prophesying, a prophet of the Lord prophesying the downfall of this wicked ass place. Any motherfucker that has an issue with about to speak our words and feels like a bitch, it gets in a bitch spirit because we're just speaking the facts and the truth, and they're too bitch to acknowledge the truth. Any man who can't acknowledge the truth, even if you're a fucking woman who can't handle the truth, you're a bitch. You're weak. Your capacity to comprehend reality and the monetized logistics of knowledge, universal practical knowledge, which in this time ain't really universal because it's not given to everybody. It is weak. You're weak then. You're weak. You have a low integrity, you have a low self-esteem, and you have a low confidence, buddy. But that's spirit because America's falling down, and I was just passing by this other store. It just used to be a major store, home department, on this section of the mall, ladder and section of the mall. It was a Macy's, which back in the time was a big store, superstore. This one, it happens to be empty, which is no coincidence. That one's empty, and also saw a big, pretty decent sized mouse. I think it would have to be a mouse or a rat passing by it, running away from me as I was passing by it. Caught me by surprise. When would you have ever seen that in one American mall ever? As long as America's been at its peak, prime level, never. So that's a sign that America's falling down, man. So it leads me to Revelation 18. Actually, Revelation 17, where it mentions Babylon is fallen. Revelation 17, and this is verse. No, it was Revelation 18. So I get Revelation 18, and this is verse 2. With a mighty voice he shouted. This is an angel. Fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling for demons, and a haunt for every impure spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, and a haunt for every unclean and detestable animal. 6. Give back to her as she has given, pay her back double for what she has done. Pour her a double portion from her own cup. Give her as much torment and grief as a glory and luxury she gave herself. In her heart she boasts. I sit enthroned as a queen, I am not a widow, I will never mourn. Therefore in one day her plagues will overtake her, death, mourning, famine, and she will be consumed by fire. Okay, because that's how a whore is supposed to be burned in the scriptures, man. This is verse Leviticus 21:9. If a priest's daughter defiles herself by becoming a prostitute, she disgraces her father. She must be burned in the fire. And America has claimed itself to be a God-fearing nation. By doing so, they have automatically taken upon themselves being a daughter to the father, the yahawashi. So by doing that, she's gonna have to be burned. She hasn't kept the laws. While she's claimed that, while America, which is compared to a woman, yeah, by the way, a whore, it's claimed that she didn't keep any of these laws. If anything, even broke more of them. So that's going to be its punishment. It's fitting punishment for its sins. 5. Revelation 18:5. For her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Yes, sin is crime. That's actually what crime is. Give back to her as she has paid. He has given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Give her as much torment. Yeah. Come on. 9. When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her account. That's once America is destroyed by thermonuclear heat, missile fire. 16. And cry out, woe, woe to the great city, dressed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. In 1 hour such great wealth has been brought to ruin. 19. They will throw dust on their heads and with weeping and mourning cry out, woe, woe to you, great city. As great city is America. It still is considered the greatest city today. Why? Because no nation has defeated it yet. It hasn't defeated America officially in war yet. Yeah, you have nations rising up, and for once in a long while, never seen before, is actually saying, we ain't gonna take your shit. We're gonna build our own shit. And we're challenging you. Right now, America's being challenged, but it hasn't been defeated yet. When a world superpower can be pushed down, it has to be challenged in a war, or it has to either submit to the other opposing nations' regulations, rules, contract, by giving up its power, its military and all that, its people, transfer to it, or it has to be defeated by a war if it doesn't choose to seek peace and take the loss. Okay? So America's still the number one power then, because it hasn't signed any treaties to Russia or China. And it still hasn't been defeated through war. Therefore, it's going to have to go to war. It's prophesied it is going to go to war. And through that war, that third woe, that's going to happen. Because it's prophesied in the Bible, the third woe it's going to happen. Third woe coming quickly, Revelation 11:14. Through that, it's going to be defeated. Ultimately through yahawashi. Once he comes, yahawashi has defeated Babylon. The Most High is just going to use these nations' missiles, weapons. The greatest weapon that's on earth right now is at least militarily wise, that certain nations have right now is missiles. That's one of the greatest weapons that they have built thus far, since the heathens have gotten into power. That's been the greatest weapons they've built so far. Our greatest weapon is the Most High, yahawashi. That's what we're going to use to defeat them, and ultimately it is going to defeat them, because it's prophesied. We're not saying that off of pride, or because we're just saying things. We're just trying to say it to give us confidence. No, that's actually that's actually what's going to come. 19. They will throw dust on their heads and weep in mourning, cry out, woe, woe to you, great city, where all who had ships on the sea became rich through her wealth. In 1 hour she has been brought to ruin. Yep, and it's going to ultimately take 1 hour to completely destroy and wipe out the literal landscape of all America. Yep, so Hey. So going back to Song of Solomon, that was he's going back to Solomon here, 1 Kings 1. The main topic I want to go back to 1 Kings 1 verse, start here in verse